Good evening. I'm Ross Hendrickson. I serve as the Legislative Chair of the Chamber Board of Directors. Betsy McReynolds, past President of the Chamber, and I will be your moderators for tonight's forum. The Chanute Area Chamber of Commerce and Office of Tourism is pleased to present this candidate forum. We thank the candidates for the Kansas Senate District 15 and Neosho County Commission for being with us this evening. And we also thank those in the audience for attending and for those watching at home. This forum is for the general election to be held on November 8th. Each group of candidates will have their individual time on stage. We will begin with the candidates for Neosho County Commission. Questions for tonight's forum were made available to the candidates as they arrived this evening. Questions were submitted by chamber members and the general public. Tonight's potential questions were developed by a nonpartisan committee made up of chamber volunteers and were reviewed prior to this evening to ensure a nonpartisan approach to the forum. This is a forum where candidates will be able to answer specific questions. This is not a debate, and questions will not be taken from the floor. Candidates drew for seating arrangements and the order in which questions will be answered. Each candidate will begin with a 2-minute opening statement. Then, candidates will be asked questions of general interest to the county commission position. Each candidate will be given 2 minutes to answer each specific question. A 45 and 15-second notification will be given to each candidate, and then candidates will be notified when their time has expired. Following the questions, each candidate will have 2 minutes to provide a closing statement, with the candidate going first in the opening statement to take the second position for the closing statement. We are pleased to welcome the following candidates for Neosho County Commissioner to tonight's forum: Loretta Neely and Jennifer Orr. Welcome you both. We will now begin with Loretta Neely with the opening statement for 2 minutes.
Thank you. Good evening, and thanks for coming. I'm Loretta Neely. I'm running for 2nd District, Neosho County Commissioner. I was nominated in the primary, and I have lived in Neosho County most of my entire life. I have worked here, raised a family here, owned property here, been a taxpayer here. I'm vested in Neosho County. I have family that lives here. This is my community. You will never hear me saying a statement in any kind of interview or giving any kind of statement in reference to Neosho County or Chanute, your town. This is my town. This has been my hometown, and it's going to remain my hometown.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Jennifer Orr.
Hello. First of all, I would like to thank the Chamber of Commerce for having us, and for the professional women's for serving the refreshments and things outside. If you don't know me, my name is Jennifer Orr. I did not grow up here. I am from a small town in Kansas called Galena, which is about 1/3 of the size of Chanute. I went to school there, graduated there with honors, and was a Kansas honors student, and also attended Girls State. Later on, I attended Labette Community College. I raised my children there, married my high school sweetheart, stayed there, worked for Eagle Pitcher Industries for 14 years, and after that, I went to work for the post office and remained there until the loss of my husband. That is how I ended up in Chanute, as I met and married a Chanute native, and came here about 3 years ago. Fell in love with the town. I think it's an awesome place to raise a family. A lot of community spirit, and so I feel very blessed to have found this place, and it will be my home for the rest of my life. So thank you.
Okay, thank you for your opening statements. We will now go into the questions, with the first question going to Jennifer. The question is, with the uncertainty over the past several years on taxes, what would you do to help stabilize and improve economic conditions in Neosho County?
Well, first and foremost, I would need to study the budget and look at any areas where I find there might be excessive spending and cut that. And also, I would take a look at some programs that might help us find additional monies. I know that with the loss of Ash Grove tax base and now Post Rock, it is going to put our county in a very tight budget. So I would look at all the areas that I possibly could to cut spending. Definitely look for new businesses to come in, and of course job growth. So that's where I would start.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you. Loretta?
Thank you. As far as the economic conditions in Neosho County, as far as improvement, what I'd like to see happen is a 5-year plan that is established, that goes across the board with Neosho County, with the city commissioners, the other agencies, the Chanute Development Regional Authority. They're extremely instrumental in bringing in the growth that we're seeing in the last year. I would work closely with them. I would like to be able to see some kind of funding to help their efforts to further business. It's going to increase employment, and it's going to help stabilize the tax base. I think it's important, whereas a commissioner seat is a 4-year seat. So if you develop a 5-year plan and the people come and go, you can always look towards that goal. You can all make sure they're all going the same direction. And if you have something established and wrote out, then you don't ever have to wonder what direction you're going. Thank you.
All right, thank you. This next question will go to Loretta first. The question is, with the recent change in state law about raising the mill levy, what would you do to meet budget demands in the future?
Well, I don't know if the past commission took that into consideration when they set this budget the last time. I'm not aware of that. They may have. But what happens with that, you have a very small margin now to work with on money that you may need. So that is going to call for a special election, and that is a cost to the taxpayers. And so when you make something look good on paper, necessarily down the road, it's not going to be a good thing. I'm all about making sure the budget is set in a way that is, you know, bringing down taxes and things like that. But this situation could potentially cause some issues down the road because of that very thing. There's a very small margin. I'm not exactly sure what it is. I knew in the primary, I can't recall it at this point. I think it might be 1/8%. But there's not going to be a lot of money. There's not going to be a lot of room to move.
Okay, thank you. Jennifer?
It is true that it is going to be a difficult task for whoever becomes county commissioner. The budget is tight. Once again, I will say if the main thing we need to do is concentrate on new jobs, new businesses to come into our community. I do believe that the county commissioners need to work with the city commissioners in order to do some of that. With the CRDA, bring them into that and help us find those new businesses to come in. And I'm really excited about some of the new businesses that are coming in right now. We've got the new Hibbett's, we've got the Love Store, and the new hotel that's coming in. So I do believe that our county is on the right track, and I do believe that if we all work together and we have the same goals, that we can make Chanute and Neosho County as a whole a better place to live. And I think that's what we all want. So that is my main goal, and that's how I would handle that situation. Thank you.
Okay. The next question will go to Jennifer first, and the question is, if elected, what would be your top priority, and what would you do to improve Neosho County?
My top priority would, well, first of all, let me say that we have the highest unemployment rate in the state of Kansas. So I don't think that now is the time to raise taxes. I also feel like that we have all of these young people that are going away to college and becoming young professionals, and our housing is too high. The taxes on the properties are too high to keep these young, intelligent, professional people from moving away. We need to make Chanute a place where, in Neosho County, a place where everyone can have affordable housing, can afford to pay their taxes, and we do have a lot of programs that can help with that. We have the revitalization program that also helps people that want to buy a home. It helps with their taxes, keeps their taxes lower. I think that's an awesome program. I also have a concern about our elderly people on how they are going to make it on their fixed budgets with the way the taxes are right now. So I really feel like that is not something we need to do, is raise our taxes, but try to find a way to keep those taxes down, find other programs in order to keep our young people in our community. And when we have those young people in our community that have all of these hopes and dreams, they're going to strengthen our community and make it a better place to be, and they're going to bring all of that talent and they're going to share it with the rest of us in the community, and I'm very excited about that prospect. Thank you.
Thank you. Loretta?
Thank you. I think this topic right here you could talk about for a long time. As far as the top priority, I think it needs to start with the communications. The city of Chanute and the commission in the county has not had a working relationship that has been what I call favorable. I think when you start opening up the lines of communication and really get excited about the new industry that's coming in, the new Horizon, the other things that are going out across from the high school, the Loves and this kind of thing, the thing out on Santa Fe, the sports store and the dollar store and all those things. I think when you really get a group of individuals and the two commissions working together and developing strategies and kind of build it as a team and not just one person as a top priority. You know, one person can make a difference, but when you get a whole bunch of people on board, you're just going to have greater progress. I think there's all kinds of top priorities here in Chanute, as well as down at the county. I think the services need to be better in Chanute and with the county. There's just a lot of areas that I don't really think that you can just say, you know, one top priority. It's just a number of things. I think that if we work together and we see that we're together across the county, that, you know, we can list these top priorities. We can get visions from other people, and together we can make a difference.
Okay, on to our next question, and Loretta, this will be for you to go first. And the question is, what is your vision for economic development for Neosho County? What role do you think the commissioners should take in economic development?
I think the commissioners should take the role as economic development in Neosho County as serious as the city commission takes the economic development. I've seen them start to work together with these projects that I just talked about. I think as those things develop over time, you know, it's going to make a huge impact. I think the county commission probably hasn't had the vision on economic development as the city has, and I think that needs to change. You know, they're doing what they can with Road and Bridge. They're assisting the city with help on the things that are developing. I just think as that continues, it's just going to give us the ability to move further in economic development.
Okay, Jennifer?
I also, too, believe that there needs to be synergy between the county commission and the city commission. I believe that both entities have excellent ideas. It's thrilling to see some of the things that's happening in Chanute, and I would like to see that done countywide. We do have some work to do on some of our roads. Katy Road is in desperate need of finishing. It has been started, but it does need to be finished. We also need to look at Plummer between 14th and 35th Street. That needs to be completed and made more usable and friendly, especially because that is the path to the high school. So that does need to be finished. I believe that if we can, as the county commissioners and city commissioners, learn to work more closely together, that we can take ideas from them and they can take ideas from us. And together, including, we kind of leave out other little towns like Galesburg. We need to work with all these small communities and bring us all into this together, because it is countywide, and we need to keep it where we're all together instead of acting like we're all separate entities and not working together as a team. And that's what I would like to see happen, a beginning.
Okay. Our next question will go first to Jennifer, and the question is, what is your stance on spending money to hire outside professionals, such as appraisers and attorneys, to handle county business?
I believe that we have some excellent people right here in our county. I think that we have a lot of professionals that do an excellent job. Maybe sometimes we don't utilize them like we should, but if we have those expert people in our community, we need to use them first, and before we would ever go outside and hire someone from another county or another city. We need to keep our dollars in our community, and that also goes for, I'm not changing the subject, but even our road and bridge where we're out buying these dozers and road equipment. It needs to stay in our county. Those tax dollars need to be spent right here at home, and that's how I feel about that.
Okay, thank you. Loretta?
I touched on this in the primary, and I think there are situations that arise where the hired officials or people that work for the county, for whatever reason, are not able, for court purposes, conflict with people. I think there are situations that arise where you do have to hire outside assistance. As far as the county attorney is concerned and the county counselor I have no problems with at all. He's a very nice man. I feel that his service to service the Neosho County meetings is wasted money. We have a county attorney. He's paid a salary. He's more than able to fulfill that role. I think on conflict of scheduling or this and that, it's fine for him to come on board and help. I do not have those figures. I can get you those figures on what that additional cost has cost the county. I think on situations like that, it's unnecessary. It adds more tax dollars, more money spent that the Neosho County citizens don't need to bear. Thank you.
Right, thank you. Our next question will be to Loretta, and the question is, what would you do to promote working relationships between the various government entities in Neosho County?
I'm going to start with the Neosho County Courthouse as an example. I think with some of the services there at the county, let's use the deputies or people in the appraiser's office that have to go out and get special training to fulfill the role. Money is spent for that training, then they come back, and because their wage is not competitive with Chanute or surrounding areas, they don't stay in that position. So you have county citizens spending money, thousands of dollars, on training, and then you don't keep them in that. I think the turnover in the county, I think that needs to be worked on. I think the morale in the Neosho County Courthouse needs to be addressed. These other government entities that I am not exactly familiar with, that I'm going to be educating myself on, I think all services can improve. I feel like when you are investing in people, in department heads, you're putting your trust in officials, and you are making an investment in someone. I think as far as the service goes, you need to do what you can to build that and keep them working. I think services are a big issue here in the county. Thank you.
All right, thank you. Jennifer?
I think the major issue in our county is that we don't have open communication between the different branches of our courthouse and our commissioners. I feel like there has been a lot of distrust between different areas in the courthouse and in the county. I would like to see that change. I would like to see a more open door policy where employees feel like they can go to their commissioners and tell them what is an issue with them and try to work with the commission. Right now, it seems to me, from what I have seen, I've attended a few of the county commission meetings, and to me, there is no trust, absolutely none. And county employees are scared to voice their opinions because they're afraid of what might happen. There's a lot of dissension there. And I would like to, with the help of the other two commissioners, to have a more open door policy where people can feel like they can come to you and they're talking to a person. They're not talking to someone that's not listening. I want to be where you don't feel like you have to hide from what's bothering you. I think that, especially in some of our people that do work in road and bridge, I think some of them concerned about their equipment that they have, but they don't feel like they're going to be able to get that equipment because they don't feel like they can come forth and be honest about what they do need. So once again, I think that between the county commissioners and the employees of the county, if we had more synergy, if we were able to relate closer together and have it be more of a close-knit community like I think it should be, I think that we could do a lot of good together as the commissioners and the county employees. Thanks.
Okay. We now come to our final question before we go to any closing statements, and the final question will start off with Jennifer, and the question is, why are you running for Neosho County Commissioner?
I was actually approached and asked if I would run by several different people, and I'll be honest with you, I've never been in politics before. I've always kind of sat on the sidelines and watched things happen, and I saw something that I didn't like, and I said to myself, I could either sit back and do nothing, or I can step up and do something. I am not political. I have a lot to learn. I'm an intelligent woman. I can ask the right questions. I can talk to the people that can give me the answers that I need. I'm very passionate about this. I don't ever start something without finishing it, and I will do my best for the citizens of Neosho County. And I am so grateful that I was allowed to be here today once again. Thank you everyone for having me. Good night.
Thank you. Loretta?
Thank you. Well, contrary to belief, I chose to run for Neosho County Commissioner myself. And I have been the one running for County Commissioner. I've been a business owner. I've been a landowner. I've owned property. I've worked with people. I've been in a service type business for 25 years. I'm invested in the people here in Neosho County. I'm passionate about helping people. It's been a part of my life, my entire life. I have the ability to work well with others from all levels. I'm not a respecter of persons. I'm fair. And my desire is to bring a positive change to this county. And I want to be a part of the solution, not the problem. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. We had Loretta go first on the opening statement, and so as we flip those, in fairness, we will now have Jennifer go first for closing statement.
Once again, thank you for having me. I just want you all to know that if I am elected, I will give it everything that I have. I have a lot of energy and I have a lot of time. And I am very passionate about seeing a real change in Neosho County. When I first came here, it was a new experience for me, and I fell in love with this community. I love your community spirit. When I was going door to door to get petitions in order to run, I would spend sometimes 2 hours at a time on someone's front porch getting to know that person. I've made a lot of great friends, but I have also been able to insert myself into the community, and I have developed a real passion for the folks that live here, and especially the older folks. They're the ones that seem to be, they kind of get pushed under the table sometimes, and we forget about them. And out there talking to them on the streets, it was just such a wonderful experience for them to be able to tell me how they were feeling and what their concerns were. And young moms at home, you don't find working people at home a lot, but I was able to talk to a lot of young moms with families and their concerns about their children's future. So I would love to be able to be a positive role model and take the county commission to a new level where we can work together with the city commission and really make a positive change in our county. And like I said, I'm very passionate about what I'm doing, and I look forward to doing more in the future. And I appreciate you listening to me tonight. Thank you.
Loretta?
Thank you. First of all, I'd like to thank the Chamber of Commerce for putting on this forum, but especially because they've handled it with integrity on being a nonpartisan front. A nonpartisan media that is set up to put out the information out there so the citizens of Neosho County can make an intelligent decision with their vote. I appreciate that. I really appreciate that from the standpoint that I have gotten all kinds of bad publicity from other media here in this community. So especially, I'm passionate about this because I know this organization is fair. So, in closing, I'd like to say this. I live my life with purpose, which gives me clarity and the confidence that I need to do the job that's set before me. I have educated myself. I have spent time learning the aspects. I do not know everything there is to know. Anyone that takes a Neosho County seat is in the same boat. It is a progressive position. Things change. You cannot know everything up front. But I've always been a student, and I've always been a person of knowledge, and I have the abilities and the confidence to do what's right for the people that I'm vested in. The people that have been a part of my life for 50 plus years. So when you go to the poll, you need to ask yourself, do I want to vote for somebody that I've worked with, lived alongside, gone to high school with, spent time with, know, and have a reputation of community? That would be me. And I would really appreciate your vote on November 8th. Thank you.
Hey, all right. I want to thank you to Loretta Neely and Jennifer Orr